Hey, what's up, Cardfighters? BOTCG here, and yeah, we did something. We did something on Saturday of this weekend. BCS Duluth. We got into top 8. We got 6th place. Before top 8 playout after Swiss, and we just died round 1 in top 8. Unfortunately, man, like I felt like I only needed 2 more wins, man, and we were there. But this is like the closest I've gotten to achieving, you know, as you guys know, like a big goal of mine on this channel, or at least this year, was to try my best to participate for Worlds. I'm going to try, if I can seek to go to LA or not. I'm not completely sure if I'm financially able to go or not. But if not, there's always next year. Like, as long as I keep trying, I know I'll eventually get it. But yeah, I'm gonna go over the rounds quickly, real quick. I did post about it on my community tab on the channel, so you know, again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're very close to the 1K subs. We just need like a little less than 200, and we're there. Like, it'd be really great if we reach that by the end of the year or by the beginning of next year. But going over the rounds in case you didn't see that. Round 1 was Orfist Mask. I lost this game, and I literally had to. I lost this game and I had to remain X1 for the whole tournament to be able to top. And it was very fortunate to me, because the guy that I lost to, shout out to him, by the way, because man, like, he put in work, bro. He got 3rd place after top 8 playout. But man, like, I got double critted when I can only take 2 damage. He just dealt me 3 and I just died. I was Dobbs. So there's not really much to say there. But that was my my only loss before top 8. Round 2 was against Gandeeva. I did win this match, but I did have to call a judge. It was a situation that I'd never been in before, where my opponent resolved Gandeeva's skill, but instead of drawing 1 card, he drew 2 and bound 2 cards. And he did it so fast that I didn't see the cards go into his hand, and I asked him, why'd you draw 2? He put the cards immediately back on top of his deck. I didn't see what cards he put back. We called the judge. That judge called the head judge to get a confirmation ruling on it. And the head judge ultimately ruled that since he was only supposed to draw 1 card, he'll put both cards into his hand, shuffle his hand. I pick 1 at random, and he'll put that in his deck and shuffle his deck. I still won the game, and we did get a time extension. Shoutouts to the head judge, by the way. I didn't get your name. I apologize, but I felt like he ran this tournament very well, and I just wanted to give a shoutouts to him personally. But yeah, we still won that. We got a 3-minute time extension because I was more worried about time, not so much like what the judge was gonna rule. I was like, man, like, I just don't want to get taken to time. But we got that time extension, and we did ultimately get the round. Round 3 I was against Youthberk. I got that W. Youth is just not it right now. He did get a really a lucky 6 damage heal when very lucky, by the way, because that was his last heal in deck while I wasn't at 6. But it was just, you know, he took me to 6, and it was pretty easy to kill him from there. Round 4 was another Gandeeva player. We won that as well. I do believe this Gandeeva player got into top 8, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was X1, or no, I think he had to be X2. But shoutouts to him as well. Enjoyed playing against him, and then we chatted a little bit afterwards. Round 5 was Eva. I felt really bad about this, because this was this guy's first BCS, and he was playing a little bit slow, and I've played it. Like, I have massive experience against Eva, and the reason I play so time crunched against that deck is because I know it can take a while to resolve all the skills and all the triggers. So he was debating on what to do, and I asked him, like 20 seconds or something passed, and I asked him, can you make an action please? And he swung. I hit a defensive OT, and he just passed turn. He didn't even swing with his Vanguard. He didn't want to swing with his Vanguard, he told me. And I killed him next turn with like I got a crit and then another crit, and then he couldn't guard because he just didn't have the hand to. I felt really bad about it because I felt like I rushed him, and because I rushed him, like, he didn't play as best as he could have because he didn't get time to think about it. But you know, I just really, in that matchup, I was really just more concerned about going into time, even though, you know, we just started the game. But I do want to say that, you know, shout outs to that guy, because I do feel sorry about that, and I do want to apologize. Round 6 was Orfist Mask. This was really, I did win this game. This was a really cool match because I was at 4 damage on his last grade 3 turn. He swung with one of his tokens, puts me to 5, swings his other token at a rear guard, and then swings with his Vanguard. I guard the Vanguard, like I think I perfect guard the Vanguard or something, and then he gets double crit, which is exactly what he needed. So he puts 1 crit on one of the tokens that he just got off of Orfist Mask, and he puts another crit on one of the tokens he got off the Orfist Mask. And basically he was able to damage deny me from getting that 6 damage, which would basically guarantee me game, because his overtrigger was already out of deck, I believe, which would have guaranteed me the game, but we still got it on the next turn. But that was a really cool play. Of course, like, hindsight, it did require him to get that double trigger, but like, you know, you play to your outs, you know what I mean? So shout outs to him. That was a really cool play that he did. Round 7 was against another Eva player. I hit OT on him like I was on grade 2 or grade 1 offensively, and I just played very conservative. I was so scared before the game because he was talking about how, oh, I like last round I decked out a GREEDON player, and I thought he was playing Prison, so I was sweating. But he was playing Eva, and I'm like, oh, I know how to play against Eva. And then I hit the OT, and then basically because I know how Eva works, I was just playing around, you know, him hitting my front row with the grade 2 up squeede and all his skills overall. Sorry about the noise, guys. The AC unit in the apartment. I do apologize. But yeah, I was just playing super conservatively, like making 2 Vanguard swings and a rear guard swing a turn, and then eventually I just like grinding him out where he just didn't have perfect guards anymore, and I was just able to kill him. And then round 8 was against Orfist. This was an extremely grindy match. Again, I was playing more conservatively in this match just because he was like attacking my rear guards a lot, like damage denying me, or like trying to damage deny me, because he really didn't want me to go to 6. And then it was a point in the game where I thought the OT was still in my deck, and I was playing the turn as if I was only going to get 3 swings, so I Persona Ride. I have like a back row of triggers, like 2 8Ks in the front row. I swing with my Vanguard. He 2 to passes it. I have like 4 cards left in the deck. I think the OT is still in there, which I damage checked it like 2 turns ago, but I forgot about it forehead. So I hit a crit. I do all effects Vanguard, and then I hit another crit. I do all effects Vanguard, and he goes to me, he's like, "Was that the last 2 triggers in your deck?" Because he counted my triggers before I did my drive checks, and I'm like, "No, I have the OT," and then like, "No, you don't." Like, "Oh, yeah, that was the last 2 crits in my deck," and he was like, "Oh man, I'm sick." Like, you know, that happens. And then round 9 was up against Chronojet. I do have like quite the experience against Chronojet, just playing it and playing against it. Very importantly, I lost the die roll, so Jet was able to go first. He didn't really draw too many cards in the early. He did try to aggress me, but I did get key defensive triggers, and I was just able to like ping him for like 1 or 2 damage in the early. And I believe I killed him on my 2nd grade 3 turn, not my 1st. But it was just really unfortunate for him, just because he was just low on he was like on so few cards. He was never able to effectively multi-attack. He was only doing like 3 attacks a turn, and he never went into next stage. He only did I forget his name, but the first stride. But he only got into that, but we were able to win that. And then my first opponent in top 8 after I passed deck check was Bastion, and I lost horribly. I go 2nd, which ideally I do want to go 2nd. I search for Orfist Mask, not Orfist Mask, GREEDON Mask off the top 5, whiff. And then I didn't see Orfist Mask until turn 5, and then it was just basically too late. My opponent was just guarding very smart, to whereas he was staying at like 0 to 1 damage. And I just decked out, because by the time I saw Orfist Mask, I went through too many cards, because I was doing GREEDON restand, because I have to do something. And yeah, that's just like I decked myself out, because I didn't see Orfist GREEDON Mask in time. And yeah, that was my run in BCS Duluth. Sorry if it was a little bit long, guys. I will put a timestamp for when the deck profile actually starts. But we're getting into it here. Nothing to talk about. the GREEDON ride line. I do want to go into the 2 different engines of the deck, which we have the Dragon Tree cards engine and we have the Desire Devil engine. So we're playing, let's see here. Yeah, that's fine there. 3 copies of Mask. 3 felt perfect. 2 felt like too few. 4 felt like too many. Really not much to say there. 4 GREEDON Mask. So, like, I don't know, probably correctly so. This is how most GREEDON players play it, but if I don't open up with GREEDON Mask in my opening 5 cards, or if I don't open up with a way to get to Mask, or I don't open up Mask, I hard mull to 4, or I hard mull to 5. And it's just very important that you do see GREEDON Mask. Even if you don't see Mask, you can at least ride him on turn 4 the hard way. Because this deck really doesn't care too much about its Persona Ride. Like, Persona Ride most definitely helps its turns, but it can still basically, like, put out the same amount of pressure without Persona Riding. So yeah, 4 GREEDON Mask. Like, if you don't see this, your deck is actually literally dead in the water. 4 copies of Skull Chemical. Again, it's just very important that you see like a combination of GREEDON Mask and a way to get to Mask, so that you're able to, even if you go first, it's still very important that you do get into your GREEDON Mask. Just because, like, if you're on regular GREEDON, you're just so vulnerable. And, like, literally, bro, I am sick. I was, like, stuck on GREEDON for, like, a turn, round 1, and then I was stuck on GREEDON again for, like, a turn, like, round 2 and 3, and I was like, man, it felt like I was fighting for my life, man. But we were able to, fortunately, close out the rest of the games after round 1. And then 4 copies of Demon Shredder. This card was just, like, the MVP of the deck all day. This just made it so that you didn't have to commit so many cards from hand, and you just had constant access to Goomin. I know when I first started playing this deck, I wasn't on Demon Shredder, but some people told me, like, hey, Forehead, play Demon Shredder, you'll always have Goomin. And I was like, oh, but that's like a lot of soul, which it is. More often than not, you won't be able to do Demon Shredder on your turn 3, but after turn 3, it's very easy to at least resolve 1 Demon Shredder. Because it is a lot of soul commitment, but this is just basically always Goomin, and always a way to get to Inkin. Always an extra. This is like always 2 bodies after turn 3, so it was just like a very crucial part of the deck. And then getting into the getting into the Desire Devil package of the deck. I'm not running as many Desire Devils as I would like for GREEDON secondary effect to like top 7 search for a Desire Devil add to hand. There was like a lot of times where I whiffed on this skill, and like one of my opponents, I think it was the GREEDON player, it was like, I'm sick, like you literally just missed that skill. Every GREEDON player I played today always hit it, and I'm like I'm not actually playing that many Desire Devils, so like I don't really expect to hit it more often than not. But 3 copies of Inkin. Inkin at 3, I almost wanted to cut it to 2, but 3 felt like the sweet spot for me, just because it's not hard to get to Persona Ride, or it's just, sometimes you kind of have to set it up where you have to call Inkin before you Superior's Persona Ride, but if you regular Persona Ride, you can't do that, and you're forced to, like, if you do call an Inkin, you're forced to Soul Charge 1, which this deck, the game can go extremely long, you do have, you know, I decked out in top 8. Like, deck out is a factor. So generally, if you don't have to, I won't do the soul charge off of Inkin, which is why I'm only running him at 3. There's a lot of times, like even at 3, there's a lot of times where I just had like a few Inkins in hand. I'm just like, I need a body, but I don't want to call this because I'm forced to soul charge a card. But one of the MVP Desire Devils of the deck, besides Goomin in the ride line, is Desire Devil Fujo. Oh, by the way, I don't call these by their names. For me, like all day when I was resolving these effects, for me this was like, this is Goat and this was Frog all day. That's all I was saying when I was resolving these effects. The only ones that had names were the Dragon Tree guys, like Skull and freaking Shredder. But 4 copies of Goat. This is just like really cool because it gives the deck like spot removal, which is like very helpful against certain strategies. That like you're pressuring their hand while pressuring their key pieces is really cool. Also, it can get rid of interceptors because sometimes your rear guards, they'll be big enough to whereas if they get a defensive, they'll still hit, but then like your 2-card guard is wasted if they could just intercept it away. So yeah, 4 copies of that. Also, the guard restrict is very nice, but more often than not, I found myself just trying to resolve Demon Shredder so I can get the Goomin, which then I almost never had enough soul to be able to resolve the Goat on my first Vanguard swing. But yeah, it is a very versatile card to have. And then 4 copies of the Bird. Originally I was running this at like 3, and then I cut it down to 2, and then I bumped this bitch up to 4. Sorry for the language, guys, but I bumped it up to 4, and I really like the Bird at 4 just because it boosts the consistency of always being able to search this card. There was one game where like I damaged 1, I discarded 1, I had 1 in hand, and I had exactly 1 left in deck to be able to search off my ride line to add to my hand. But it's just a 15k beater, 10k shield. It's just really good. Like, I didn't feel like there was any other Desire Devils in this deck that I wanted to play. I felt like these were just like the best ones that, you know, required like minimal effort, minimal commitment to use. But this is 11 Desire Devils in total, but you gotta always you always gotta minus it by 1 because you're always searching 1 bird off your ride line. So unless you've drawn them or damaged them, you'll have like 10 targets in deck to be able to search off the top 7 for GREEDON Mask skill. Which again, it's not a lot of Desire Devils. Like I'm like 50-50 when I hit it. Like maybe like at the tournament I was like 65-45. But yeah, 4 DPGs. Very important that these are DPGs just because of the way that old GREEDON and like GREEDON Mask work is just like they need to be rear guards. Like the Blitz Order PG is like useless to me, and honestly, this is a very strong deck, by the way. Like there's a reason why this deck keeps topping this BCS season before set 13. It's just really strong, man. Like even when my opponent, bro, more than half the time my opponent had the Blitz Order PG when on one of my Vanguard swings that had the 2-card guard, but it just didn't matter. Like, it didn't really felt like it mattered. Like, okay, the rest of these attacks will still have 2-card guard. Like, I'm still ripping your hand, like, massively. Like, just forcing pieces out of your opponent's hand. Like, more often than not, they'll have the guard, but just forcing those pieces out of your opponent's hand is brutal. Getting on to the triggers. Oh, I'm really happy I got this map, by the way. Dark States OT. This is just, like, if you flip this offensively, it's, like, your deck just becomes insane. Yeah, I'm really happy I got this mat. I didn't know that the BCS mat for standard was the Dark States one, so I'm just like, man, this felt like destiny to me. 3 effect fronts. You don't want draws in this deck. You will deck out, man. 4 heals. Still not a fan of effect heals this format. Ooh, it's a little bit off camera. Let me. Ooh, for sure. 4 heals. And 8 vanilla crits. You don't really need effect triggers in this deck besides the effect fronts, just because for the extra shield. But yeah, this is my GREEDON deck, guys. Like, the deck changes by like 1 card. You'll cut 1 Desire Devil to add 1 copy of the new Grade 3 guy to your deck, and that's pretty much about it. But or maybe like 2 copies, but like I don't see that card being more of the 2 of. But yeah, guys, this is my GREEDON deck profile. Shout outs to Richard Garcia, shout outs to Richard Norton, man, Ed the Crimson, shout outs to Ryan, man. I wouldn't been able to make it to this event without Ryan, so shout outs to him, man. I love you, bro. Literally, I wouldn't have not been able to come here if he didn't like let me cram into his hotel room. Connor, Alfred, had a great time with you guys, and the whole Kingslayer crew. Peter, I love you, man. Peter was one of the judges, and I was so sick because he went up to my table in one of my rounds like, you can't fool me, I've seen your deck profile. And I'm like, bro. Me and my opponent were laughing, and it was crazy, but like it was funny because my deck changed, so I was like, oh, sure, cool, sure. But yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. Again, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I know this is a little bit of a longer one. It's more of like a, you know, tournament experience report type video. And shout outs to Cardfight King, man. He was like the king of those back in the day. But yeah, y'all have a great night.